Hello, dear students. I welcome you to the online classes organized by Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan Jabalpur region to support students sitting at home during this time of pandemic. It's a great initiative by the Kendriya Vidyalaya Sangathan Regional Office Jabalpur. Today I have brought for you class 12 subject English core textbook Flamingo chapter number 3 Deep Water. It goes on from page number 23 of your textbook. Deep Water, it has been written by William O. Douglas. This story is concerned with a number of moral values which are necessary in everyone's life. Briefly, I would like to point out those values. It's all about determination, optimism, that is positive mindedness. As you remember, class 11 also you have studied about optimism and we are not afraid to die if we are all together. Perseverance, that means continue to try again and again. Diligence, that is hard work. Accepting challenges in life. Courage, persistence, and endurance. Now we shall know something about the writer of this story, Deep Water. William Douglas. He remains one of the most popular and powerful American Supreme Court Chief Justices in the history. He was an American writer. He served as an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States. He was nominated by President D. Roosevelt. Douglas was confirmed in his job at the age of 40. He was one of the youngest justices appointed to the court. In the beginning, he started his career as a teacher, but later in his life, he changed his course of life. This chapter, which is actually a memoir, it is autobiographical in nature. It is an excerpt or a small portion from a very famous book written by William Douglas, and the title of the book is Of Men and Mountains. And this memoir is based on his childhood experience of drowning in water. Very quickly, I'll narrate to you the gist of this story. But before narrating the gist, I would like to talk about fears in life. In the beginning of life, when we are children, we are surrounded by different kinds of fear. Example, fear of darkness, fear of loneliness, fear of being separated from our near and dear ones, fear of failure. So many fears are there. But when these fears can be overcome by normal efforts, that is a normal fear. But when these fears become abnormal, they overpower the mind and heart of a person and they disturb the normal life, they are known as phobia. 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 You must have read stories, you must have seen people who are surrounded by different kinds of phobias. Phobias are actually, it's a kind of mental illness. So and it's very difficult to overcome phobia. But here in this story, you'll see how the narrator overcomes the phobia of water, the fear of water, extreme terror and fear of water. Now the main points or the gist of the lesson. William Douglas, I told you it's autobiographical in nature, this story. So William Douglas, he talks about his own life. He had a great passion for water. He longed to learn swimming. In the beginning of the story, he says that when he was just 3 or 4 years old, his father took him to a beach in California. They had gone there for surfing. A big wave came, it overpowered him. The father started laughing but the boy lost his breath. He was merely 3 or 4 years old. And this created in his mind a fear of water. Now, when he came to the age of 10 or 11, he lived in an area where there was Yakima River nearby. His mother would continually warn him about dreadful accidents that would happen now and then, drowning accidents that would happen now and then in the Yakima River. Of course, she wanted her child to be safe. She wanted that her child would never go near that dangerous river. Now, when he came to the age of 10 or 11, he wanted to learn swimming. And YMCA pool was considered the safest place on Yakima River for swimming. Though it was 9 feet deep at the deepest end, but it was only 2 or 3 feet at the shallow end, and the slope was not very deep. He started going to the pool, started swimming by imitating other boys. One day, a misadventure happened with him. A big bully of a boy came and threw him towards the deepest end of the pool. He was shocked. He was not prepared for it. But then he behaved sensibly. He made a plan that he would bounce. He would take a jump when he would touch the bottom of the pool. It was not as easy as he had thought. He continuously made efforts. He came up, but then no one saved him. No one heard his screams. He went down second time. He went down the third time. He gulped a lot of water, and when he went down the third time, all efforts ceased and he almost died. A vivid description of death has been given in this memoir. Douglas says that death is peaceful. It's merely like sleep. Someone saved him, luckily, and when he regained consciousness, his life became terrible. For many years, he never went near water. Even though he lived near Yakima River, he could not enjoy any water activity. Later on, when he grew into a young boy, he decided to learn swimming again with the help of an instructor or a trainer. He went to various rivers, pools, lakes, and swam alone and got rid of his fear of water. So this is what all the story of deep water is about. Now let's consider the basic theme. Two basic aspects of human nature have been discussed in this story. One is creation of fear due to any particular accident or circumstance that happens in life. And how do human beings develop the ability to overcome that fear? I told you just now that William Douglas, he developed a deep fear of water because of that misadventure that happened with him at the YMCA pool. He's completely handicapped because of this phobia, and he is not able to live a normal life. He is not able to enjoy any activity related to water. This fear is real. He has to face it and he has to get rid of it. As he grows mature, he uses his strong willpower and comforting help from his near and dear ones, and he is somehow able to pull out himself from this darkness of fear. The events that move in this chapter show us that minor incidents of childhood can have a long-lasting impact, and that too a damaging impact, disastrous impact on mind. Such impact remain active in person's subconscious mind, and it takes a very hard effort to overcome such things, such kinds of fear. But then nothing is impossible in life. It's all courage, determination and willpower which helps us to overcome all kinds of challenges in life. Now we talk about the title Deep Water. Why has this story been titled as Deep Water? Because, as I just now told you, the author is actually recollecting an incident of his childhood, his fear of swimming, and then an incident, an accident, because of which he was almost drowned. Another incident which further aggravated his fear was when a big boy pushed him into deep side of a swimming pool. Slowly and steadily he overcomes his fear of water through determination, willpower, and persistence, of course, rigorous training. He took the services of an instructor, swam in the same pool, then in different lakes, different rivers, different waters to overcome his fear. The title signifies that the author's fear is deep rooted inside his heart and mind. In short, we can say that this title, Deep Water, is completely justified. Now, how does he overcome the phobia of water? It's determination, courage, the values that I have discussed in the beginning. What all is required? First, the thing is required is positive approach. And with positive approach comes determination, courage. Then a road map is required. That is, a well thought out plan should be there to overcome such kinds of phobia. Douglas does the same thing. He takes the services of an instructor. After the instructor builds him into a swimmer piece by piece, step by step, the instructor's work is finished. But the quest for fearlessness in Douglas does not finish. He wants to do it alone. He wants to prove that when he would be alone in water, the fear would not come back. His resolution, his willpower, his nerves of steel enable him to defeat all kinds of fear. Finally, we see at the end that he is able to achieve his goal. He is able to come out of deep waters, drowning all his fears forever. Now we come to page number 23. Page number 23 of the book. The first paragraph. Douglas, since beginning, he had a longing. As the chapter starts, he says that since when he was around 10-11 years old, he had a longing to learn swimming, and therefore he makes plan to learn swimming. YMCA pool. YMCA, I have given the meaning here in the box below. YMCA stands for Young Men's Christian Association. It's a famous club all over the world. There was Yakima River near the area where he lived. Yakima River was believed to be very treacherous, very dangerous. Even the most efficient, most skilled of the swimmers, they would be cheated by the river. Every now and then there would be news about accidents of drowning in the river. The boy's mother, that is Douglas' mother, she would tell him each and every incident in detail, so as to keep her child safe, so as to keep him warned. Now when he decides to learn swimming, he chooses YMCA pool because it was considered to be safe. Now why was it considered to be safe? Because at the shallow end, it was only 2 to 3 feet, while at the deepest end, it was around 9 feet deep. And the slope, it was not steep, it was very gradual slope. So even a small child could learn swimming in the pool very easily. And number of children, number of youngsters, they came to that swimming pool. So he starts making preparation to start swimming lessons. Now because he's a growing boy, he is shy of exposing his skinny, that is thin bony legs. So in the beginning he doesn't want to expose his legs in front of others, but then of course he has to get rid of his shyness, he has to get over his shyness, because he cannot go into the pool, into the water with trousers or pants on his legs. He gets a pair of water wings for himself for safety, and he decides that he would learn swimming by imitating others. Now, when he goes to the YMCA pool for the first time, there is a fear of water in his mind. Now, why there is a fear of water in his mind? This fear is due to a childhood incident. You have to remember that this is an incident. It is not misadventure. It is not an accident. An incident had happened with Douglas when he was just 3 or 4 years of age. So here on the second page, Douglas recounts a childhood experience that had happened with him at a beach in California. When he was around 3-4 years old, he had gone to a beach in California surfing on water, having fun with the waves. A big wave suddenly came. He was holding his father's hands, but that big wave was big enough to engulf the boy. The boy almost was submerged under the wave. He started screaming, shrieking due to fear, and the father started laughing. For father, an adult man, it was fun, but for a child, it was shocking. So, when he got engulfed under a big wave, he started shrieking. He became terrified. And this incident created a fear of water in his mind. After this, there was an aversion in Douglas' mind to water. He tried to avoid water as much as he could because he was a small boy. Until he came to the age of 10 or 11, when he started thinking reasonably, and then he decided that it would be good if he would be able to learn swimming at the YMCA pool. So when he went to the pool for the first time, the unpleasant memories of that childhood incident at California beach, they were revived. They came back to his mind, and they made him frightened. They made him afraid. They made him weak. They made him lose his confidence. Still, he was not a weak boy in spirit. He tried to overcome fears, and he started feeling at ease by copying other learners who were there to learn swimming at the YMCA. Now it had been only a few days when he was at the YMCA pool. He was not still very much confident in water. He had merely learnt to get into water and paddle with his legs. Paddle, moving your legs like you paddle on the bicycle. He had only learned to paddle with his legs and be comfortable in water, because every time when he would get into the pool, the childhood fears would come back. Now one day when he was sitting alone at the pool, he had come there early. He was waiting for the others. He still did not have confidence to get into the pool alone. So he was waiting for others. At that moment, a big strong boy arrived there. He looked a kind of bully. Bully is a person who loves to torture others, who has fun by torturing others or by making others sad or making others' lives difficult. So this strong bully kind of boy, who was a mature boy, he arrived at the pool. He called this little boy skinny. Skinny means very thin, whose skeleton like body is visible, is known as skinny. So he called this little boy skinny. Douglas, he calls him skinny, and without waiting for an opportunity, he picked up the little boy and threw him into the deep side of pool just for fun. Just for fun. He wanted to play prank with this little boy. He took opportunity of the loneliness of the boy and he threw him into water. Douglas fell into water straight in sitting position as he was sitting on the edge of the pool. He was naturally shocked. He was not prepared. He was neither mentally nor physically prepared for it. But his wits were working. His brain was working properly. As soon as he started going under the water towards the deepest end of the pool, he started making plans that what would he do. So he started making plan how would he come out of water. He planned that as soon as his feet would touch the bottom of the pool, he would make a good jump, a big strong jump, and he would come to the surface, flail on the surface, raise a call, raise a cry, and maybe he would be able to wade to the edge of the pool. So he was frightened, but his mind was alert. All the time he was planning on how to save himself. Now, 9 feet going down appeared like 90 to him. He thought that he would go in a moment and come back in a moment, just like a cork. Cork, all of us know, the bottles of chemicals in the chemistry lab, they have cork covers. Cork ball is used in cricket. Cork is a wood-like material which has got number of pores. It's very light. So if you throw cork into water, it goes immediately and it comes to the surface immediately. It doesn't sink into water. So he thought that he would come up like a cork, but it did not happen as he had thought or as he had planned. 9 feet appeared like 90. That means time passed with great difficulty. Since he was shocked, naturally he was gasping for breath. When we are shocked, we start breathing more, we start breathing fast. Breathing becomes rapid. So he breathed a lot, and naturally water got into his lungs. Water entered through his mouth and nose, and it got into his lungs. His lungs were ready to burst. Now when he reached the bottom, he remembered his plan. He hit the bottom with complete strength. He took a jump, and he thought that he would come in a moment to the surface. He came to the surface, but again it took a lot of time. His eyes and nose came out of the water, but his mouth still remained in water. He took a long deep breath through his nose. He looked here and there, but he saw no help. He even raised his hands as if trying to grab something, a rope, ladders, something that would help him, something that would save him. If someone would see his hand and save him, but nothing. He shrieked, he shouted, and when he shrieked and shouted, his mouth gulped a lot of water. Now he started going down again the second time. There was nothing but water all around him. When he opened his eyes, he could see only yellowish, dirty, greenish, yellowish colored water. He swallowed a lot of water. Suddenly he felt that his legs were becoming rigid. His body was becoming heavy. Since he had gulped a lot of water, since his lungs were heavy, since he was not able to breathe, his legs started feeling stiff like lifeless objects, as if something dead weights were hanging on his body and they were not allowing him to move his body. All efforts were useless, were vain. Vain means useless. Again, so it's a futile struggle. Suddenly he starts feeling dizzy. Dizzy means his senses, they start fading. His lungs start paining. His head is throbbing. He is in physical pain. He is mentally shocked. His body has become rigid. He is surrounded by stark fear and terror. Even his screams have frozen. He is shouting, but it seems as if his sound has also frozen. And he starts trembling because of intense terror that has overpowered him. Still he does not give up. Again he makes a plan that as soon as he would reach the bottom, he would make a jump, come to the surface, flail on the surface, and wade to the edge of the pool. He came out of the water the second time, took a long breath again. His mouth was again underwater. He shouted. It made no difference. Again he gulped a lot of water. And then started the journey down the pool the third time. Now the body was extremely heavy. His lungs were full of water. They were ready to burst. Now he could not make efforts. His body had given up. He experienced a sudden blackout. Blackout means there was nothing in front of his eyes. His eyes were about to close. Why? Because lack of oxygen. It has started impacting his brain. Suddenly he started experiencing blackout, and with is this experience of blackout, fear and terror also went away. Suddenly there was no fear, there was no terror. Why? Because the brain is not working, and when the brain is not working, there is no fear, no terror. All of a sudden, suddenly he relaxed his body, and when he relaxed his body, he felt as if he was floating in his mother's tender arms. The mother was making him sleep, and he was ready to go to sleep. So it's not ready to go to sleep, actually his senses are fading, he is about to fall unconscious. And then he says, he passed into oblivion, and the curtain of life fell. Passed into oblivion means he entered a world of forgetfulness. Oblivion means where we don't remember anything. What happened with him, he does not remember. So he passed into oblivion, and the curtain of life fell. Curtain of life fell means it was almost the end of life for him. When he gained consciousness after some time, he thought that he had died. After this, he does not remember what happened with him. But he did regain consciousness. That means someone had saved him. He was saved. When he opened his eyes, he found that he was lying backside like this. He was lying upside down, his stomach towards the ground, beside the pool, and he was vomiting water. People were scolding the boy who had thrown him into the pool. Someone said that the boy had almost died, but that boy, he said that he was only fooling. He was only playing a prank. He didn't mean to kill the boy. Then the little boy, Douglas, he was carried to the locker room. He lay there trembling for many hours, feeling weak, crying, terribly lost. He did not know what to do. Now, this is all for the first video of this lesson. Since this lesson is big, I have divided into 3 parts, and next 2 videos will come in 1 or 2 days. I have got an assignment for you. I have got some questions which you should try to solve and test your understanding. The first one I have also solved for you. Describe the misadventure that made Douglas fear of water. Misadventure means the accident at the YMCA pool. You have to remember. The first was only an incident. The second was an misadventure. So don't get confused. Describe the childhood incident because of which he had an aversion to water. Third one, why was the YMCA pool considered to be safe? On which river had it been made? What happened when the boy had just started learning swimming at the YMCA pool? Describe the series of emotions experienced when he was going down the pool. This can come in a form of 6 marks question, so it would be a long answer. What was the plan of Douglas to save himself? So solve these questions. Read the first 2-3 pages nicely. Go through the PowerPoint that I have presented once again and try to solve these questions. And be ready for the next video lesson. Thank you.